What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I just finished watching the Bethesda E3, their first ever press conference. There's a lot of stuff in there. I took a lot of notes. There's going to be a lot of talking, and this is going to be a long ass video. So, apologies for that in advance. I'm going to cover the whole thing anyway, so just straight off, we're just going to jump right in. And the first thing that they showed off is the new Doom, which is just obviously titled Doom. Now, they have shown this off once in the past. The people at QuakeCon, I believe it was last year, got a closed door screening of the whole thing, but until then it was never actually publicly announced or shown off. There's been like teasers and stuff like that, but that was about it. So it's running on the ID Tech 6 engine. Thank fuck. Hopefully the engine is considerably better than ID Tech 5, which likes to randomly fall apart and break the games. Or as they tentatively like to call it around the office, they said ID Tech 666. You know, to do with Doom and Hell and all that. So, fair enough. We know already it's just called Doom. Okay, fair enough. It seems they showed off a quick little, well, I won't say quick, they showed off a little video of it. And it seems to be focused more, like when you look at all modern games nowadays, they're all mostly the same. First persons at least anyway. There's very few others, and Doom it's trying to go back old school. It's trying to just really focus on just kill shit, be really fast paced. It's got the same Doom staples, pick up health, there's no regenerating health, pick up your armor, there's no regenerating armor, crap like that. You're carrying more than 2 guns, like, you know, they showed off a couple where it's carrying like 8, 9, 10 guns, like the old Dooms. Can't remember if you could in Doom 3 or not, it's been a while. But yeah, it's going old school, and I mean, there's a lot of, I like to use the term because I kind of grew up and learned it from Doom, if you will, but it's got that real ultra violence feeling to it. So I mean, when you see some of the blood and gore and dismemberment and shit, it really screams old school Doom ultra violence. So the quick demo or the quick video they showed off at first anyway, there was 2 parts of it, and it was basically in a USC Mars facility. So you walk in, it looks like something straight out of an Alien film, the Alien/Aliens series of films, if you will. And you know, there's lots of stuff everywhere. What's the other thing? There's molten lava and machines everywhere. One thing I noticed as well is a couple of areas seemed like they had just been straight palette swaps from the old Prey 2 footage that had been cancelled. I could be wrong, but some of them just looked like an exact copy-paste, just with the textures swapped. Now, I only noticed that in maybe 4 or 5 different places at most, so that's just my personal observation on it. Okay, so some of the other things they've shown off is obviously you kill enemies, they drop, say, you know, health, ammo, armor, the usual kind of thing for most games. Well, I won't say most games nowadays, but any game that uses this kind of system, you know, the non-regenerating health system. And there's a real focus on that they've added melee finishers into it now. So I mean, there was a lot of stuff where they showed off, and like the enemy will be almost dead, they'd flash kind of blue, like a little kind of X-ray blue real quick. You could run up and finish them off with a really brutal, gory, ultra-violence melee kill. It looked pretty cool. And then you have all your not particles, your pickups, if you will, just spray everywhere from their ripped apart body. And one thing that's also really nice is it's the return of the double barrel super shotgun. Double barrel super shotgun was an absolute beast when it was brought in Doom 2, and it's gonna fuck shit up. That's all I can say. It's just gonna destroy everything. So what they also showed off was, it seems like they have, I'm not sure if they're just alternate fire modes or if they're completely different system we haven't really seen or heard about yet. I mean, they showed it off once or twice real quick, but again, it's not confirmed on what it is. It looks like they have a gun attachment kind of system, but again, it might be just alternate fire. And in this particular case, he had the single barrel shotgun, which is obviously a single barrel pump action shotgun. So it's like bam, reload, bam, reload, bam, reload. But he put an attachment on the end of it. Now, it was all done fairly fast with what seemed to be, you know, no menu interaction or anything like that. So he put an attachment on the front of it that let him charge up a triple shot burst. Now, there was lights on the screen, so it seemed that it would be, you know, you could still use the single shot. You could hold up a little bit and do a double, or you could hold up even further and blast a triple. So we'll see how that goes anyway, because there wasn't really any details on it. They showed off the hologram / audio log system, if you will. I mean, you know, most games nowadays, you pick up books, you pick up notes in games, and they tell you more about it. Sometimes audio logs. In this, they have what I call the hologram looking system, and it basically, if you've ever seen the film Prometheus, it works like that when they see all the engineers and the holograms of them running through the hall. Ooh, nearly knocked something off my desk. Running through the hallway. And no, I'm not going to start the video over because this is going to be a long ass video, and if I restart every time I fuck something up, I'm going to be here for days. But it looks really cool. I mean, in the bit they show off, it has the hologram of a monster attacking people, flinging them around, and where it brings them all. It looks pretty funky. And it's also the return of the chainsaw, which is pretty fucking, has me pretty fucking psyched if I do say so myself. And as you'd expect with a chainsaw, and with the new melee animations that they show, it's got some pretty ultra violent, brutal kill animations for the chainsaw. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that anyway. I was always back and forth on this new Doom. I mean, Doom kind of just got stale and stagnant after Doom 3, and I just never really cared at that point, especially because it'd been so long since they ever said anything or showed anything off. It's like, yeah, well, it's in development, but, you know, who cares? You know, that's it. It's just in development. That means nothing to me. So, other than that, they switched to a little bit about the multiplayer, and it, as you'd expect from ID Tech Software, or ID Software, a lot of people call them id Software. Even Bethesda themselves call them id Software. I grew up calling them ID Software. That's never going to change. So, as you can see, ID Tech and ID Software. So, they showed, because they, you know, they do Quake as well, obviously. So, between Quake and Doom, more so to the Quake side of it, they're pretty much the masters, the old school masters of arena-based combat. And what they showed off in the Doom multiplayer, it was almost all of the levels and all of the gameplay they showed off seemed very fast-paced and arena style. Think Quake 3 style. So that's really good. I'm really happy with that. They've got tons of different game modes that they didn't really go over them that much. They just named one or two out. They've got Domination, Freeze Tag, a couple of others. And it's all going to focus on stuff like power-ups and unique power-ups that, again, think Quake just ported into Doom, but obviously with the Doom spin on it. So, I mean, you've got instead of having quad damage, you've got something else. So, I mean, in the one they showed off, they had a power-up, that when you picked it up, it changed you into a Revenant. So, you're running around as a big fucking skeleton with rocket launchers on your back, killing shit. So, that's obviously one of the big boss ones. So, other than that, they showed off what they call Doom Snap Map. Now, Doom Snap Map, that's right, saying that 10 times fast, but Doom Snap Map is basically their own proprietary level editor / challenge creator kind of thing, whatever, if you will. Now, it's going to be universal across all platforms for the Snap Map. So whether you're on PS4, Xbox One, or PC, you're still going to be able to use Snap Map. It's not limited to just PC. And the stuff that they really showed off with it is it looks pretty impressive. I mean, it's got all sorts of stuff. You can make your own custom challenges. They showed a horde-based co-op challenge, just kind of survive as much as you want. They showed another what I like to call Dark Ops style challenge, or Dark Ops style mode. Now, anyone who's played Perfect Dark Zero understands Dark Ops mode. For anyone who doesn't, it's basically Counter-Strike. You start the round, you spend your money, you kill stuff to get more money to buy better stuff in the next round, and it just keeps going. And it's kind of like a cooperative Dark Ops horde mode, if you will. It's also got the staples like deathmatch and all that shit as well. But one thing that they showed off with the level editor is what they quote as changing the game logic. And what they showed off at the time, it would be like, okay, when people die 10 times, a monster comes out, breaks out of this wall, and these power-ups change, and new stuff happens all over the level, and new areas are accessed. So it looks pretty fucking comprehensive. And I'm pretty happy with that, because it really shows that, because the game's only coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, it really shows that they're taking a lot of advantage of the next gen, or the current gen hardware, and, forgetting what the old consoles were holding back. So they switch back again at this point to a little bit more of the single player campaign, and this particular bit that they show off, it actually takes place in hell. So it's obviously more than likely one of the later parts of the game. It's got a completely different art style and level design. Well, art style is a given, but level design, it's very different. In the start, in the facility, it was all narrow catwalks and walkways and tunnels and stuff. In hell, it's very open. There's what are probably like fighting pits and demon pits and big open castles and stuff. So it's very, very different. And to go with the melee finishers as well, they show off is you down someone, if you will, get them ready for a finisher. And in this situation, he shows him jumping from the stairs, landing on his head, and that triggers a new melee finisher. So that's pretty funky. Now, that's pretty much everything on the Doom front. I am just going to comment on one thing real quick as far as it comes to for Doom. I'm not sure if it was all in engine or in game or what it was. It looked pretty good, but we all know how E3 presentation videos and downgrades and bullshots and everything go, so I'm not really going to comment on that too much. The only thing I will say is that it looks pretty good, and if the game visually turns out like what they showed, as long as they upped the performance a little bit, there was some situations where there was like big explosions and particle effects where the frame rate had a noticeable dip. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. The game's going to be out in spring of next year, so they've got about a year, a little under a year, to improve that, but I'm sure we will. Now, to go with all that, because of things like Doom Snap Map, Bethesda are launching their own PC client. So I've mixed feelings about this, but I'm not going to get into it. But it's basically a new platform like Steam or Battle.net or Origin, GOG Galaxy. There's another one I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, Uplay, because the reason I keep forgetting is because it's Uplay. So it's going to have all the standard stuff in there. It's like a one-stop portal for all your Bethesda games. So I mean, they showed off it's going to be Doom Snap Map integrated. Elder Scrolls Online will be integrated into it. Fallout 4 will be integrated into it. All the usual shit. As like all them, they've got news, forums, videos, exclusive content, in the sense of exclusive like news content or whatever. We'll see how that comes out anyway, and who knows when that's going to be. So, other than that, the next game we'll move on to is Battle Cry. Now, they didn't show much of Battle Cry off, and they didn't really go over much, so I have very little to say about this. But if you are familiar with Battle Cry, you already know the type of game it is. If you're not, it's basically a small online team-based PvP style game. Think Team Fortress 2 style. So it's that kind of game anyway. they've already done their alpha, and they're going to, well, they've already done a closed alpha in one part of the world, and they're going to continue on and open in the rest. So if you want, you can go on to battlecrythegame.com and you can sign up to hopefully get into that. It's because they're launching worldwide beta invites, or alpha invites, or whatever one you go. And if you do get in on it through there, you'll get priority access to the beta once that comes around. And you'll also get some special in-game stuff, kind of like founders hats or some shit. I don't know what it is. They've just said it'll be special in-game stuff like that. Right, so that's Battlecry taken care of. So we've talked about Doom, we've talked about Battlecry. Next up, the guys from Arcane Studios took to the stage, and like we all figured out last night when they fucked everything up, Dishonored 2 was their big announcement here anyway. So they show off a big CG stylized trailer. It's what I like to call ninjaing around the city, because you're doing free running and you're climbing up all this crazy shit, and you're using it's all CG, so it's not in game, and it uses all their crazy powers and all that to assist with the free running. Still, it's a big steampunk style, Victorian-ish looking city. Yeah, if you're familiar with BioShock Infinite, it's kind of like Columbia, or maybe not Columbia, maybe I can't remember the city down below. It's the city down below anyways. So if you're familiar with BioShock Infinite, you might know it's that kind of steampunk style city. A little bit different obviously because of the art style and everything. It's based somewhere on the very southern part of the world, so it's very sunny and it's very lush. So we'll see how that goes anyway, because that's just what they showed off for the trailer anyway in the town. You play as someone named Emily Caldwin. I'm not sure if that has any relevance to the first game. I've installed it for months and I just been putting it off playing it, even though I keep really do meaning to, and I probably will get around to it fairly soon. But like the CGI trailer, and as you'd expect would show, it shows off a bunch of funky different powers she has, a bunch of different technology and gadgets and traps that she has, and it just shows them off to use. They also listed that there's a choice of characters. You can play as, I forget his name, but they mentioned the guy from the first one. So you can either use the guy from the first one or Emily Caldwin. And each character have their own unique powers and unique gadgets. So it'll make for most likely very different gameplay and very different styles of gameplay. It says it'll give lots of choice in how you handle everything. Like if it's complete stealth, if you're doing it just, run and gun, big guns blazing kind of thing, or if you're, say, maybe multiple different ways to handle a situation, sneak in, don't sneak in, sneak in and impersonate someone else to do something. I don't know, we'll see how it goes anyway. And as you'd expect, it's coming out on PC, Xbox One and PS4. Now they haven't even given a date at all for Dishonored 2. Not even a general general time frame, if you will. Just to continue on with the Dishonored news, they also announced the Dishonored Definitive Edition, which we already knew about from a while back. I know I personally made videos on it. But they gave off very few details, and as you'd expect, it is Dishonored with all the DLC and all the additional content for Xbox One and PS4. It's going to be graphically enhanced. They haven't said anything about how graphically enhanced. They haven't said anything about the resolution. They haven't said anything about frame rate. I'm assuming 1080p, 60 FPS, just with the settings turned a lot of the way up. Now, it doesn't come to PC because the PC already has the definitive edition of the game, so that's pretty much about it. Whew, that was a lot of talking. Still only about halfway there. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 more games real quick, and then I'm just going to take a little drink, so that'll only take me like 2 seconds. I'll have it here beside me. That was me putting on the desk. Nice big bang. So next up we had Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited. Now, I'm not going to go into the details on my thoughts on the game or the quality or alleged quality of it. But what they did was they gave us a preview of all the content that they're going to be adding to Elder Scrolls Online this year. They said this year, so I assume that means between now and the end of December. So they showed off the Imperial City, which is basically the fallen capital of Tamriel. If you played Oblivion, you will notice it from there. It's right in the center. It is the capital, and it looks like it's all ruined and occupied by enemies of some sort of. It was really hard to tell what kind of faction they were. They look kind of evil and demonic, if you will. So the city was pretty much falling apart. It was under siege. There was fights all over the city between all the player characters and just the actual enemies. Other than that, they showed off something I'll probably butcher in the pronunciation, but is Orsinium, which is the realm of the orcs. Now it's a big snow-looking city. Wouldn't really justify it. If you think of the Wall or Castle Black in Game of Thrones, it's very like that. It's all ice and snow and stone and brick, so it looks very like that. They showed some of this. It's built up very vertical as well, a lot like Castle Black. So I mean, you've got like one floor of the city, and then you've got another one 20 feet in the air, and you've got another one halfway up a cliffside. So it looked pretty cool, and I'm not gonna lie. Now I do have Elder Scrolls Online. I bought it on the PC when it came out. Stopped playing it. Have it installed again. I do really intend to get around to playing it, but I was not a fan when I tried again recently. But we'll see how it goes anyway. So let's see, what else do we have. They showed a bunch of the surrounding areas, and some of the other areas that would be included by the end of the year. They had a lush green forest, a snowy wintry forest. They had some of the caves and catacombs, and some of them look really cool. They look really overrun with like flora and fauna, and some of them look like they were temples and dungeons and all that, the usual shit. And most importantly, they finished off the trailer and presentation of Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited with the usual black handprint. Like someone put it in ink. It's the black handprint, and it just says "We know." And for anyone who knows anything about Elder Scrolls Online, that is the symbol of the Dark Brotherhood, which is generally just great quality gameplay involved with it. Hopefully they do something good with it. We'll see how it goes. Or maybe we won't, I don't know. Right, next up, they had a new game to announce. This game is a tablet and mobile game. It's called Elder Scrolls Legends, a strategy card game. So, as you'd expect, it's a digital card game a la Hearthstone style, because everyone wants to get in on that. It's going to be free to play, and it's going to be PC and iPad later this year. Now, that's all they said, PC, iPad later this year, free to play. And pretty much everything I just listed off is literally all they had to say about it. So we're going to take a break for 1 second. I say take a break, but I'm not going to bother doing anything. I'm just going to take a quick drink. Now, that's much better. So, onto the big one. The one that has about as many notes as everything previous combined. So, Fallout 4. The main reason we are here. Yes, Fallout 4. Can't wait. Now, the main thing they talked about, or the first thing they talked about really, was the attention to detail they're going to put into absolutely everything in the game. Todd Howard, the guy in charge of Bethesda Gameworks Studios, he actually specifically said every button on every terminal will be detailed, will be very detailed and properly textured and crafted. So I'm thinking like every screw, every rivet, everything. That's all I can think of. Better have good quality detail and textures on it. Otherwise, Todd Howard, I'm coming for you. That's all I can say. So then they did a concept art montage, as you'd expect. It shows all sorts of concept art about all different stuff. It's including locations. It's got different outfits, different races, different armor, different events, different weapons, different everything. It goes through anything that you can think of concept art for. It's there. So one other thing that makes this a little bit different, I mean, okay, you look at Fallout 3. You technically started, well, like after the bombs and all had hit, even though you were born and they went through it a different way. Then at Fallout New Vegas, everything was still gone to shit when the game actually started. But in Fallout 4, you start pre-bomb. So it says you just start on a lazy Saturday morning with the general threat of nuclear war just looming around. So they show off some of the gameplay anyway, and it just, like, you're going around modern at the time for the Fallout universe, modern house, modern outside, everything is still fine. Nothing has gone to shit just yet. But they also show off some of the character creation. The character creation looks really cool because it looks very different. I mean, previously you would obviously use your presets, but it was done very mechanically. Whereas in this one, when they showed off the character creation demo, you had like a little cursor, and you could drag it around, grab say his nose, quickly sculpt it the way you want, or go through all the presets, and then just change something else, like let go, grab a cheek, let go, grab a forehead, grab some eyebrows, do whatever, and you can change all sorts of stuff, skin color, facial hair type. It's all there, and well, it seems to all be there anyway. And as they mentioned, you can play as a male or a female character. It's obviously, the game is going to have a voiced protagonist, and they showed that off as well, which will tie into something I'm going to get to now in a second. So the character creation tool that you use at the start is apparently the exact same character creation tool that molds all the NPCs. So I mean, everything that Bethesda uses to make an NPC, you can use to make your character. So what else do we have next? Yes. Based on the character you make with your looks and your facial structure, hair color, all that, it actually creates a baby based on your looks, which I thought was pretty fucking funky. I mean, I know there's another game out there that I can't remember. It's The Sims. That's it. It's The Sims 4. There's another one that does it like that as well, but I expect this one to be a lot more in-depth and a lot more accurate and detailed. So it makes a baby based on, the kind of character you create. Now, what else have they got? Oh, yes. Next one up is the one that tied in a second ago with the whole voiced protagonist thing. They've programmed in 1,000 of the most popular names. So that means, because you're going to have a voice protagonist, you're not just going to have your character is going to be speaking, it's going to be saying everyone else's name. And they don't want everyone, all the NPCs, to just be referring to you in the third person, or referring to you in, like you're not there, or with some shitty title. It's like, oh, what are you doing, Courier? I've been playing a lot in New Vegas lately, so that's it. It's like, what are you doing, Courier? What are you doing, Vault Dweller? They've actually programmed in 1,000 names, so I'm going to assume it's 500 male, 500 female, of the most popular common names. Hopefully they have Steven in there, that's all I can say. Yes, that is my name, despite me being Q, but yes, that is my name. So hopefully they have that in there. I'd assume it will. It's a pretty popular, pretty standard name. And they show off a little bit of gameplay about a little bit of, story, if you will. It doesn't seem to be really gameplay. That it's basically how you get to the run-up to the vault. I say run-up, I mean the events that take place, if you will. It shows some of the interactions with other NPCs. And it has, I know in the previous Fallout games, or at least Fallout 3 in New Vegas, I know in 1 it was very, actually 1 and 2 and Brotherhood of Steel were very similar. But they used to have like kind of a list that you pick from. In this one, it's kind of a BioWare style one. So you've got your 4 options In the video they showed it off, it was either on PC or it was on Xbox One, but either way it was using a controller, and it was an Xbox controller, so you'd have your 4 options and you'd have whatever button. Think a Telltale game or a BioWare game, and it would give you it from that. So yeah, it shows the run up to the vault. It doesn't tell you, it didn't go over any of the details story-wise, just because they didn't want to spoil anything, but it skips forward, and you emerge from Vault 111 200 years later as the only survivor. So who knows how that's going to be. And then they keep going on to show about the enormous dynamic world that they've created for Fallout 4. About how pretty much everything is different and you can just go whatever way you want and do, create, be whatever you want to do in practically any order you can do. It runs on a new next-gen version of their creation engine, and it has a bunch of new effects that they went over, volumetric lighting, etc, etc. It's, you know, there's no point in me explaining it. It's all par for the course for current-gen games. A lot of talking, sorry, it hurts, my throat is killing me. So they went in with player freedom being their #1 goal, as you can probably expect. So it can be played basically any way. It can be played in first person, third person. You can be in the middle of a conversation or in the middle of an event and just, you know, walk away whenever it suits you, if that's your reaction to it. And then they go exploring a little bit, and what does it show next? It shows Dog. Now, he is just related or referred to as Dog. It shows up in the videos just as Dog. But I will say at one point later on, when they're in VATS during a combat montage, which I'll get to in a minute, they're quickly flicking through everything, and the name was starting to come up on the screen, and it said Dog ME, which means I'm 99.9999999% sure that that's going to be dog meat, or at least that will be. The dog meat is in it, put it that way. So who knows how that's going to be, because dog meat is dog meat. I mean, we need dog meat. Otherwise, it's not a dog without dog meat. So you can issue commands to the dog with basically one button press. You can like send him over there, look somewhere, press a button, boom, he's there. You can make him attack enemies. You can make him fetch items and pick them up and bring them back to you. And that's all done with one button. So that looks like it'd be pretty handy. And one of the big things that they show up next is what I'm really happy about, is to have a brand new improved VAT system. Now we all know the VAT system as it is. But this is the, excuse me, you're going to hear one little click reel here, just because my notes are all over the place, too big. Yes, VATS, they showed off VATS. One thing VATS no longer does is VATS doesn't pause the game anymore. It's really fluid looking slow motion instead of just a straight up pause. So it's still more interactive and a bit more tense. And as much as I hate to say it, we all know the VATS kill cams and all that. The VATS shooting and the VATS kill cams look far more cinematic in this, like with the camera angles and all. Like I said, I really don't like to use that term, but well, it is what it is, or at least to me it is anyway. And then they set off exploring, and the game is mainly going to take place in, as we all already knew, downtown Boston. So it's going to take place all over downtown Boston. There's obviously going to be surrounding countryside, in, you know, cities, ruined cities, remnants of cities, new created towns, and out cities on the outskirts. It's going to be fairly fucking extensive by the looks of it anyway. So then it flips to a photo. Now, it's a CG photo, but it's an old school photo from the future of when the Pip-Boy was invented. So it looks pretty cool. I mean, and obviously the Pip-Boy is a pretty central idea to the Fallout games. Now, one thing that they showed on the new Pip-Boy, which is possibly and potentially very, very nice, is a layered armor system. Now, it was only on screen for a couple of seconds, but I mean there was a left leg armor slot, there was a right leg armor slot, there was a body armor slot, there was a left arm, right arm, head. Who knows? Maybe you can put on something all like that and then put something big over it. We'll see how that works out, because there's a lot of potential there anyway. Now, moving on, what do we have next? Okay, most games you have like this one kind of ties back into the Doom philosophy. In Fallout, let's say Fallout New Vegas, because I was playing that, I can give it good examples. You can pick up notes and things like that on your Pip-Boy. You open them up, read them on the Pip-Boy, and that's it. There's also a couple of audio tapes. So, yeah, there's audio tapes. You can listen to do an audio tape on the Hollow Boy, or on the Hollow Boy. Sorry, I'm reading my notes here. On the Pip-Boy, while you're off doing something else in the game. You know, that's cool. So there's the usual holo tapes, there's the usual audio tapes, and there's game tapes in this new one as well. Now they showed off two quick little game tapes during this presentation. One was a straight up Donkey Kong ripoff, as you'd expect. It was like original arcade Donkey Kong. So, you know, he'd grab someone, run to the top, and he'd start throwing stuff down. You'd be running up, jumping over the barrels and all that shit. And then they showed another one, which was a Missile Command ripoff. So all the missiles would be coming down, you'd, you know, shoot where it is to stop them, and that's pretty much it. And now, here's a part that really, really, really entices me, as much as I kind of hate it at the same time. The collector's edition of the game is going to have a real full-sized Pip-Boy. Now, this is called the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition, and the Pip-Boy itself, it will fit on your wrist and lock on your wrist to stay there. It will also have an open and closable compartment. This compartment is for your smartphone, and your smartphone sits in it with the Fallout Pip-Boy app. So basically, it'll be one of those second screen experiences that I usually hate, but because it's going to be a Pip-Boy on my wrist, I'm just going to fanboy out, and you can use an actual Pip-Boy, working Pip-Boy on your wrist. Now, I know in America the Fallout 3 Collector's Edition came with one, but it didn't actually work, or if it did, I think it was a clock actually. I think it was just a Pip-Boy clock. But this actually works. It has all the screens that the Pip-Boy has, and they showed off a quick video of it as well. So, I mean, he was looking at his stats, he was looking at his health, he was looking at his inventory, all on his second screen Pip-Boy inside the actual Pip-Boy. So it was pretty cool anyway, and I can't wait to get it. It's going to be available on iOS and Android when the game itself actually comes out. So that's, you know, it'll be available to download when the game comes out anyway. And they also showed off one of what I can only call a major new system, and that new system is basically a building system. So what you can actually do is you can say scrap and recycle items. So I mean, you have a pile of tires, scrap it, you get something out of it. You have rubble on the ground, scrap it, you get something out of it. You have a bent up, broken ass fence or building, scrap it. And what you can do is you can actually start building your own settlement. Now, chances are you're just going to build one house first, decorate the inside of that. You can put all storage, beds, lay it out however you want. It's got all sorts of anything in the Fallout world can basically be put into it, as long as you have the materials to do so. Now, as time goes by and you build more and more buildings and create your own little settlement, you'll have things like merchants and other people that want to move into your town, and they can provide, you know, items and services that you can't get anywhere else. But obviously you need to do stuff. You need to, you know, make plants, actually plant plants to sustain your town. You need some sort of water supply. You need some sort of power supply for multiple utilities. And not only to that, but you put down, like, you need power generators for things like lights, computer terminals, computer defense turrets, and they showed off a quick demo of how to put everything down. So it's like, I mean, you put down a little generator, you put down a light, you put a cable between them, boom, it's done. And they showed off a lot of the stuff that how you would build and decorate, and it all looks really simple and fairly intuitive. So yeah, that's pretty nice anyway. And obviously you're going to need to defend your settlement as well. So what you can build all sorts of different turrets, different traps, different defenses, because every so often I'm sure you'll be attacked by raiders, and well, if they ransack your town, you're pretty much fucked. And that whole crafting and what would you call it? Crafting and, say, recycle and scrap system, salvage system, if you will. It carries over to other parts of the game too. In this particular case, you have, say, variable crafting materials. So let's say you want to craft something that requires 4 different types. It's got like an adhesive, it's got anything with glass, it's got anything with wood, it's got, so, you know, and it's all that kind of stuff. So you no longer need, oh, I need 1 wonder glue, 1 fission battery, and a sensor module. So now you can use anything with a piece of glass in it as your glass, anything with a power supply in it as your power supply, anything that's an adhesive as your adhesive. So it's fairly flexible in that way as well, which is nice, because I hated having to trying to craft something and you're missing that one specific thing and you just cannot find it anywhere. I hated that. So in the same vein as what we were just talking about with the crafting and customizing, that it shows they go over a quick montage of the weapon crafting and customizing system. So they've got 50 base weapons and 700 mods for weapons. So you can take, say, a shotgun, any type of shotgun, there's all different types, or a rifle, or laser rifle, or plasma rifle, and put all different stuff on it. You know, you can put a longer range barrel on it, you can put different scopes on it, something that ups the fire rate. So I mean, there's a huge, it goes through almost all of them, or fucking tons of them anyway, if that isn't all of them. But at the same time, it doesn't just stop at the weapons. You get your own custom suit of power armor, which you can modify in the same sense as well. They went over all the different pieces, like they had left leg, all the different styles of stuff on it, right leg, all the different styles of different stuff to put on it, but chest piece, different stuff to put on it, head piece, different stuff to put on it. So again, it's got all sorts of base power armor bits with all sorts of crazy fucked up mods and shit on it for the armor as well. And they've got that's when they hit up the custom, or not the custom, like the combat montage, including the potential dog meat in there as well. So I went through a bunch of different shit, killing people with all sorts of different weapons in all sorts of different ways, with VATs and no VATs. So it looked pretty funky. It really showed off a lot of the combat really well. One thing I noticed too is that when he was in the power armor, he actually had I'm not sure if it was a hood, because it didn't really look like you'd interact with it, but it showed things like power level in the armor. Maybe that's something relative to it. It would show like temperature gauges and all. It looked really immersive, even if it doesn't actually do anything. It just looked fairly immersive. And then it kind of blew everyone's mind when he threw down a flare and it called in a vertibird. And he jumped into the vertibird, and usually you think, okay, maybe that's fast travel or something like that. But it actually showed him in the vertibird using the side-mounted machine gun turrets on the actual vertibird as it was flying along. And it also, still during the combat montage, because it was still going on at this point, it really showed off some of the customizations. He had a rocket launcher that was shooting teddies. So he was using teddies and it was like knocking people's heads off and shit. And then he was using big ass rocket launchers and Fat Man and Fat Boy and shit to shoot down vertibirds. Because like there was people in vertibirds flying around shooting at him, and he was shooting up at the vertibirds. Then it cuts to, say, I don't know what it was. I think it was like an airship crashing down, and it looked like it was probably a bit of story rather than anything. And then it zoomed really far out, like some sort of big set piece, think Megaton style, and it looked like it was calling down like an ion cannon or some shit anyway. And that's a lot to talk about for Fallout 4, but what they really, really dropped the bomb with, if you'll excuse the pun on Fallout, I didn't even realize until I had said it, but Fallout 4 is actually, we're going to release November 10th, 2015. Fallout 4 is out this year. That's fucking crazy. I need to get a new PC fast. Need to get some 980 Ti's and a fucking, I don't know, like an i7 5960X and just rock that shit. Max settings, 1440p, ridiculous frame rate. I really need that. So we're almost at the very end. I'm sure by now you're really sick of me talking, because I know I'm sick of, well, I'm not sick of talking, but my throat is sick of me talking. So last up, they have a game which is available. It's available right now because it's called Fallout Shelter. Yes, Fallout Shelter. You get to make your own vault, customize it, build it. You get to make your own vault. You are the overseer of said vault. You're controlling everyone and everything in there. You have to, it's up to you to give people jobs, make sure they're productive, doing the right thing, make sure they're not slacking off. You have to balance, say, your input and output of things, resources like, say, power, food, water, energy. Every member has like different stats and different levels. So some people will be better suited when they level up to, maybe go out on food runs. Some would be better to be like engineers and shit. It's one of those kind of micromanaging games that everyone would be interested in. It's available tonight on the Apple Store. Now, by the time you see this video, it'll probably already be fucking long out at this point, because this is a really fucking long video that I'm just dragging on with. So yeah, it's a free-to-play game anyway. There's no paywall timers. It doesn't need an always online internet connection. You get these things that are called lunchboxes, and they give you extra loot, and they give you like cards with different loot and stuff. I'll assume they are earnable in-game for completing like certain levels or challenges or rewards, but you can also buy them at the same time as well with real money. So like I said, once again, it's available already on the App Store, the Apple App Store anyway. No idea if or when it's coming to Google Play. Who knows? They literally only mentioned the Apple App Store, so it'll already be out by now anyway. So that's it. That's the end of my video that I've talked way too long for. Let me know in the comment section below what anything to do with this video at all. I'm not gonna start getting into specifics, just anything to do with it. Let me know if you watched it, or if you did or didn't enjoy it, if you couldn't watch it, any of that stuff. Not details on individual games, but talk about anything. I don't care. Let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, especially this long video. Thank you for watching and or listening this entire time if you made it all the way through. It is now 5 in the morning because time zones suck. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel, which will be a lot over the next couple of days because of E3. I am off to bed while this encodes and gets uploaded for you guys. Thanks again for watching, listening, and putting up with me.